Good evening, I'm Marie Cato and you're watching Ukraine Brief on TVP World. Today is the 1,332nd day of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Another night of Russian attacks with 70 drones launched and Ukrainian air defenses reportedly intercepting 35. The remaining drones struck 10 locations, killing 1 civilian and wounding at least 20 more. In the northern Sumy region, 3 people were wounded in Russian attacks over the past 24 hours. This morning, Russian forces carried out an airstrike on the city of Sumy using guided aerial bombs. 1 person was injured in the attack and taken to hospital. The blast wave damaged several apartment buildings, shattering more than 100 windows.
There was a strike somewhere near the power plant, and of course, the blast wave damaged everything.
In the neighboring Kharkiv region, 4 people were wounded as Russian forces struck the city of Kharkiv and surrounding areas over the past day using missiles, guided bombs and multiple drones. In the eastern Donetsk region, on October 16th, Russian forces dropped an FAB-250 guided bomb on the city of Raihorodok, wounding 4 civilians, including a child, and damaging 16 houses. Over the past day, Russian forces carried out 25 attacks on civilian areas across the Donetsk region, damaging dozens of homes and infrastructure in Kramatorsk, Raihorodok and Druzhkivka. Russian forces launched a massive drone attack on the city of Kryvyi Rih in Ukraine's Dnipropetrovsk region, triggering a large fire, the State Emergency Service said on Friday. Other attacks occurred across the Zaporizhia region, damaging homes, outbuildings, garages, and civilian vehicles. 1 person was killed and 14 injured, including a child and 2 police officers in the Kherson region due to Russian shelling. On Friday, Russian strikes hit the city of Kherson, damaging a museum, other non-residential buildings, and a car. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has held a number of meetings in Washington ahead of his talks with Donald Trump on Friday. TVP World is following this developing story today and will keep you updated. On Thursday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy arrived in Washington ahead of his meeting with President Trump. Ukraine's request for American-made Tomahawk missiles is expected to be a focus of the talks. Zelenskyy's visit comes at a time when Donald Trump announced plans for another summit with Vladimir Putin in Budapest. Ahead of his meeting at the White House, Zelenskyy met with representatives of the defense company Raytheon, which manufactures Patriot systems. Zelenskyy also met with Energy Secretary Chris Wright and with leaders of major U.S. energy companies to discuss support for Ukraine's energy system. According to Trump's schedule, he is set to meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy at the White House at 1 p.m. local time, followed by a bilateral lunch before his departure for Palm Beach.
200%, 600%, numbers that nobody's ever.
Russian military court in Rostov-on-Don has convicted 15 captured Ukrainian soldiers on terrorism charges and sentenced them from 15 to 21 years. 15 members of Ukraine's Adar battalion have been sentenced by a Russian military court to between 15 and 21 years in a maximum security penal colony for allegedly participating in a so-called terrorist organization, Russia's prosecutor general announced on Friday. The men, who were captured in 2022, faced a closed-door trial in Rostov-on-Don in southern Russia.
We believe the Geneva Conventions apply in this case, and both my client and other defendants, as well as my colleagues during the trial, have stated that they were combatants. They are not accused of committing any war crimes. None of them carried out actions that could be classified as war crimes. Therefore, they cannot be prosecuted solely for being members of the armed forces of one side in the conflict.
Ukraine has yet to comment on the verdict, though its human rights ombudsman has previously denounced the proceedings as shameful. Case closed. That's what Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk posted on social media in response to a Polish court's decision not to extradite a Ukrainian diver suspected of blowing up Nord Stream 2. A Polish court on Friday ruled against handing over a Ukrainian suspect wanted by Germany. Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelenskyy was detained last month under a European arrest warrant issued by German authorities. The Prime Minister called the court's ruling, which also released the man from detention, the right decision.
We have decided, pursuant to Article 607R, Paragraph 1, Item 1 of the Code of Criminal Procedure, to refuse to extradite Volodymyr Zelenskyy, born on December 21, 1979 in Kiev, to the German authorities. Ukrainian soldiers and all those operating within the armed forces of Ukraine, including the special forces or on behalf of the special forces, cannot be considered terrorists or saboteurs. By pursuing the goal of defending their homeland by all means possible, they weaken the enemy.
Russian forces accidentally shot down one of their own aircraft overnight while trying to intercept Ukrainian drones over occupied Crimea. According to Ukrainian Navy and pro-Kremlin Telegram channels, Russia accidentally shot down its own Su-30 fighter jet over Crimea, while its air defenses were repelling Ukrainian drone attacks. Meanwhile, following Ukrainian drone attacks on occupied Crimea, an oil depot in Fardeyske caught fire, according to the pro-Ukrainian Telegram channel Crimea Wind. Around 3 p.m. local time, a second tank at the depot ignited. And that's all from Ukraine for now. Stay with us for more on TVP World and for tvpworld.com. Goodbye.